Pillowtalk with Yaz on Class 95's Love Songs.
In the studio, we've got Kumar. Hello.
Hi.
So, you do a lot of your stand-up, your routines. A lot of it is observations.
Yes.
So, I really like to know, what is the one thing that really irritates you about Singaporean men and one thing that really irritates you about Singaporean women?
What irritates me is nowadays when Singaporean men want to propose to their wife, they don't go down on their knees.
Which is very funny. I had a proposal, on Friday night. Last Friday night, I asked people to SMS in about how they proposed. And the guy said the first thing the wife did, or the fiancé, whatever, was to lean over the bed and to see if he was on his knees.
Yeah, because they don't do it. Some culture, some traditions cannot be changed. And these guys have to be a bit more sensitive to women's feelings. And I think going down on the knees is very, 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 very important. Because it's a tradition. You when you go down on knees, you mean more. You mean it. You sincerely mean it. Marry me. You just can't throw a ring and say,
hey,
so, we've been together for so long. Let's do it lah.
But I remember FD always makes this comment. The minute you propose on your knees, that's how it's going to be for the rest of your life.
Not really, but it's high time you go down on the women, right?
Okay, so moving along, what is the one thing that really irritates you about Singaporean women?
Singaporean women, the more successful they get, the more arrogant they get.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that when they are like 35 and very successful, the expectations for men become higher. And I'm not saying everyone, I'm just saying in a general.
But is it wrong to have expectations when you've reached and achieved so much in a way?
Love shouldn't have boundaries. Love shouldn't have expectations. You see, the problem is when we are so successful, we want someone on par so that we think that the mentality, whatever, the money and all that, whatever. But it's just wrong. Of course, the guy will feel intimidated as well,
right.
Because if a girl drives a BMW and if he's driving a cheap car, of course he will be intimidated. Men are like that. They are very insensitive and they are very, very funny. And women you should not expect.
Okay.
Like every guy that drives a sports car is ugly. Mostly.
Okay.
Because it's an insecurity problem. Like men after 40, they have insecurity problem about they are down there lah.
Okay.
So it's the same thing. So I think for women, I think they shouldn't expect too much, because the world in the near future, I think it's going to be taken over by women and gays.
Okay.
Lady Gaga is the start. And cults. And I think that women expect too much sometimes. If you have to meet somewhere, you cannot say, I don't have any expectations in a man. You have to have. But you don't have too much expectations.
Right.
Like going to a movie. If you have too many expectations about the movie, sometimes the movie is so rah-rah, the amount of publicity, you expect too much, you go there and then you're like...
Very disappointed, huh?
Because you expect too much.
Right.
Same thing.
Okay. Coming up.
You have all of a sudden you're like,
yeah,
oh my God.
Yes, getting people to think, yes. You've got my little wheels going... I know in your stand-up shows you talk a fair amount about couples in Singapore as well.
Yes.
I want to hear your observations.
Okay.
That's coming up next.
Stay tuned for more Pillow Talk with Yaz on Class 95's Love Songs.